Hey there YouTube, I'm Yukitsu, this is the Yukitsu Times, welcome to my channel, welcome to a bit of an episode of Relaxing with Yukitsu. So, we're doing just about the most relaxing thing that you can possibly do in existence, and that is playing Elite Dangerous for mining. This is basically like the world's most zen experience that you can ever undertake. It is absolutely maddening. The only reason that I think that it's also worthwhile doing it is because it's also pretty lucrative. Now, I am actually a weird person, so I don't mind mining in this game at all. In fact, it's my preferred way to make money, so that is what we're going to be doing here. So, we're bombing around in an Imperial Cutter, for those of you who know the game a little bit, so that should give you a little bit of an idea about the credibility of me as a player in this game, in that I do have some experience, because you can't get an Imperial Cutter in this game without at least a little bit of experience. I think the total value of this thing is like 380 million or something like that. It's a pretty expensive ship. So, anyway, let's go ahead and head on over to where we're going to be going. We're in Tofana, which does have some pretty important things going for it. So if you're going to be mining, you want to be looking for some specific traits in the system that you're going to be mining in. I'm in open, so this is probably dangerous to be doing here, but so yeah, let's take a look at the plant that we're going to be mining on. It's got it's a gas giant with a specific set of ring traits here. First of all, it's got a metallic ring here, and it's got pristine reserves, which means that we've got the best possible chance of finding the stuff that we want. Now, I'm going to also be heading into the second ring here, which is icy, and that's because I need to collect some stuff for some missions that I took there. So we'll be grabbing stuff until I've got enough for the missions to finish, and then we're going to be going ahead from there over to the other one to finish off the rest of my basically the rest of my cargo hold is what we're going to fill up there. So, yeah, this game is kind of weird in that it makes you do lots of sort of very, very slow things. I forgot to actually lock into Tofana too. There we go, block destination. Unfortunately, these plants are not that close together, but they're also not that far either. It takes a few minutes to get there. Like, you'll see that little thing that says it's going to take me 1 year. That's if we're not using the Lightspeed Super Cruise. Well, it's not light speed, but it is... Super Cruise is basically super fast sub-light speed, where you're going too fast to really see what you're doing, or maneuver, or fight, or anything like that. Then you've got tactical speed, and then you've got light speed, so... Yeah, and even here it says it's going to take me 13 hours. This is going to keep dropping really, really quickly. Your speed's sort of based on how close you are to gravity wells and stuff like that, so... as I get out of the well of the previous planet, we get faster and faster and faster, so... It's going to go from like being hours to 1 or 2 minutes. So, generally speaking, there are better planets for this. There's ones where you've got the ring and you've got the station right beside it. There's actually a planet-side base on Tofana 2, Tofana 2's moon, that's a lot closer, but unfortunately they don't buy or sell materials, so I can't really do anything with the stuff that I get. I've got some missions over there to sell them methanol, chloro, whatever crystals, I can't remember. What the hell are they? So yeah, we got methanol monohydrate crystals. I have to get like 100 units of methanol monohydrate crystals. Got some orders for osmium, and lots of orders for bromellite, so I have to find those sort of things there, and then one for hydrogen peroxide. Got plenty of time to accomplish these sort of things, and the reason that we take these missions is because they're a little bit more lucrative than standard, and they're usually for materials that are relatively fast to acquire, as opposed to the really great moneymaker way to do this is to go for things like the 3 Ps is what they call it. It's platinum, palladium, and painite. Those are the best sort of return on investment, but no one ever gives you missions to get those things, and they're really, really rare. So you're going to be in the fields looking for that stuff for days before you find anything useful. I'm considering going into the high-risk zone and then just boosting out of the center of it so that I'm far enough away from pirates spawning that I won't have to worry about that, because that does cause the better stuff to spawn in, but I'm also not too sure that I really care that much. You can go anywhere you want in the ring if you like, and it works fine. Also, I'm in an Imperial Cutter with like pretty heavy weapons. I did drop the fighter bay off, so I don't have a fighter, but I still have pretty good combat capability. We got a huge beam laser, we got a couple medium pulse lasers, or burst lasers, and then 2 large machine guns. So we're able to dish out pretty fast damage pretty quickly there. Alright, so here we can see that there are a few little markers here that are indicating whatever the hell. Oh, actually, those are ships and stuff like that. So you can see the moons around here. There we go. There's a resource extraction site over here. It's hazardous. Let's take you guys in on the resource extraction site. So there's going to be loads of ships there that are hostile, and what we're going to do is try and boost out of the hostile zone. If you travel a certain distance away from the resource extraction site that you enter into, then you kind of don't have to worry about enemies actually attacking you all that much. So just take it in nice and slow here. Basically, all you have to do to enter the resource extraction site is crash into it. So you'll automatically go out of super cruise and into tactical speed, and yeah, then you start making some money. I don't think there's any human players in this region right now, but I am actually on open, so I do have to be careful about that. Some random asshole might come out and just gank me with torpedoes or something like that and kill me instantly. Because while I am spec'd for combat, I'm not spec'd heavily for combat. Well, actually, no, torpedoes would be a bad choice since I've got a couple point defenses, but you know, someone just jumps in and hits me with something, I'm not really sure what. There's honestly very little that can threaten the ship. The thing that's special about the Imperial Cutter is that it can always warp out. There's no ship in the game that can stop you from warping, because sometimes if you're in a big ship, you can sort of warp in. You can stop other ships from warping out by being near them, because you're so heavy that... Alright, you're so heavy that you create a gravity well that stops them from getting away. Alright, we're going to pop our equipment here. Alright, we got a Type 6 transporter. That guy's helpless. Got a Python back there. We could fight some of these guys, but... and there's a Cobra Mark III back behind me that's obviously tailing me. Now, the interesting thing is, despite the fact that I'm a much larger ship than this guy, I'm way faster than him. This is the other thing about the Imperial Cutter. It is one of the fastest ships in the game, letting you sort of get away from sort of threats really, really easily. It might be easier for me to just turn and fight this guy eventually, because if he's still following me after like 8 kilometers or whatever, then, you know. The reason I'm sort of out here, though, is that there's a reasonable chance that if I'm out in this general direction, I might have a higher chance of finding things like low-pressure diamonds, which are really, really valuable. They're technically the most valuable mining thing in the game. It's just that nobody mines in the ice rings. I'm going to try and kill this guy. I should probably be using flight assist off here. Hi there, Dan Thompson. Oh, he went into silent running. Yeah, he's wanted. Hi there, Dan Thompson. Do you realize what you've gotten yourself into here? So he's messing with a much bigger ship. This is an AI, by the way. This is not a human player. Alright. There we go. Apparently this chap was worth 19,000 bucks to kill, so that's pretty lovely. Anyway, let's switch our weapons out to our prospectors and so on and so forth, and see if we can't find ourselves a decent mining spot. So this is where the sort of more zen part of this experience comes in. There's still a chance that I'll get attacked while I'm doing this, but it's not actually that likely. I should probably just open up my hatch here. Alright, so what have we got in this one over here? Whoops, shit, I launched the wrong kind of prospector. Alright, well, whatever. Oh, I remember. Oh, right, I remember right. I was looking at my icons and I was noticing my cargo scoop was closed, but that's because I was launching a probe. Alright, so here we got bromellite, water, and methyl clathrate. Now I do need bromellite, but this is a pretty low value of it. I might as well get it. This isn't that bad of an amount. Alright. And then we just get in nice and close here. This thing kind of maneuvers a bit like a whale, so it's not the most elegant thing to mine in, but the reason that I'm mining in this thing instead of anything else is that this has the largest... Ah, crap. I've got to reset my functions here. Turret weapon mode, target only fire, forward fire, there we go. So yeah, like, the reason that we're doing this is because this is the largest ship in the game in terms of internal cargo space. So you can get more through mining with this ship than any other ship in the game. I'm going to get a bit closer to this thing. Speed up this process a little bit. Pop more power into weapons. I don't really need to, since you only really need to pull as the resources out of these as fast as your collectors are capable of getting it, so... I should also check my hoppers while I'm at it. I've got 2 class 3 mining lasers here, which burn through these things really fast, so I probably could actually have gotten away with just having 1, and then I could have had another weapon turret. Let's check our refinery here. So I think we'll just drop lithium hydroxide, hydrogen peroxide. You just have to vent your stuff out occasionally so that you can get your prospectors to get stuff in there. And yeah, what we're looking for here is the bromellite. As you can see, we've got a decent amount of it already, but the reason that we're getting the other stuff is mostly just because it's there. We could actually just purge it from our ship cargo if I feel like it later. Alright. And this is why this is a fairly relaxing experience. At this point in time, we just let those little drones take us in there. Now the other thing I should probably be doing is firing off our next prospector. There's our first chunk of bromelites. Woo! Alright. You can actually reorient your ship and stuff like that while you're doing this. There we go. And of course, if we find one with a huge amount of methyl monohydrate crystals, that would be amazing as well. Water, lithium hydroxide. Lithium hydroxide is actually worth a decent amount of money on its own, but not enough for me to want to go ahead and get it. We're going to want to have lots of spare room, primarily for things like, preferably things like painite and low temperature diamonds and platinum and palladium, if we get out of this area and start working on that stuff. You never know. I'm not actually entirely convinced that the high threat regions actually do produce more money, but people have said it does, so I'll take their word for it, and frankly I'm not really threatened by them, so... Let's see here. Liquid oxygen, methane, clathrate. Yeah, no, not the stuff we're looking for. I can only have one of these prospectors out at a time, which does slow things down a little bit, but each of these sections does take up some of your cargo space, so the less you can get away with, the better. But you do need prospector limpets, otherwise you're getting stuff at random and you're getting virtually nothing out of these things, because they multiply the amount of stuff that you can pull out of them for some reason. It's like 8 times as much of each resource out of the asteroid when you've got prospector limpets for some reason. Really not sure why. I guess it tells you which part of these things to harvest, like, to get you to harvest it much more efficiently. They've also, like, the higher the class of prospector limpet, the more money you get out of them, so that is almost definitely what's going on here, but you could just burn through the entire asteroid, you'd imagine. You'd think that'd be something you could do. Anyway. Okay. Man, we are finding some real duds here. And this is the reason why most people don't harvest stuff in the icy regions. The vast, vast majority of stuff that you find in these regions is just liquid water, hydrogen peroxide, stuff like that. But we're not too worried about that. We're just here for our quests. Yeah, lithium hydroxide, water, and hydrogen peroxide. You can probably spend like 100 probes before you find one that's actually got high temperature diamonds in it, which is, of course, the thing you really want in these regions, because they're worth like 57,000 per. Even just finding 4 of them is worth 100,000 or a couple 100,000. So, all right, let's start moving. We're gonna move towards the planet in this run. I think it's a pretty good marker that helps you sort of figure out where you're going there. Yeah, more the same. All right. Ooh, I need to purge my materials hold. Actually, you know, I don't really care. There's nothing in here as far as I really remember that's super valuable. Because all you get is crafting stuff, and I don't necessarily need the stuff from this region. At least I don't think I do. I'm gonna find out I do later, and I'm gonna be really sad about that. Let's see here. Alright, let's try this one. I don't want to go for those ones that are sort of spinning too quickly, and, like, realistically, by the time you launch a limpet, it takes long enough that there's a... You don't have to go for every single one that you come across here. There's plenty of asteroids in belts. Yeah, nothing good there. Alright. Yeah, so this is not an experience for everybody, I would argue. Definitely not, but it is for people who just want a very chill experience. Sitting out here in the ice belt, launching away their collected limpets, and slowly finding the things that they need for whatever it is they're doing. I think I'm the sort of target audience for this, where it's just like, you're relaxed, you just don't really care about anything. You take it easy. You die of whatever it is I've got here, I don't know. Let's see here, hydrogen peroxide, no. This is actually probably one of the worst runs I've ever had, though. Last time I was out, I just immediately found a huge thing of painite. Oh yeah, if you're wondering sort of why I'm playing this right now, it's because, I mean, I fairly recently got this ship, and after a few big purchases, I no longer have enough money for rebuy, so I figured, you know, I probably should actually get that, just in case I play this game, forget that I don't have enough money for rebuy, and get this ship exploded, because then I would lose this ship and have to re-earn it, so the insurance is a lot cheaper than the rebuy cost, because I think the ship is, again, worth something like 380 million. The rebuy cost is only 19 million, so... Also, I kind of would like to save up to... Ooh, a huge amount of methyl monohydrate crystals. Okay, cool. The way this is spinning here, I kind of want to get... kind of want to do it from over this side, I think. When you got one that spins like this, you kind of have to have a sort of careful approach here. Alright, I think this is good. Use the stars from the background as reference that you stop spinning, which you don't really want to be doing. And let's get cutting. Yeah, so I need to have like 100 units of methanol monohydrate, which is not really worth that much on its own, but they're asking for like 24 units or whatever for like hundreds of thousands, so even that's not a great return, but the stuff's not that rare usually, although we're having really bad luck in finding the stuff. Bromelite's the other thing I need to find, so we'll keep an eye out for that, but actually I think I did have hydrogen peroxide as something I needed to get. Oh well, let's double check that. I've got plenty of time while I'm waiting for this to happen. Yeah, I did have one for hydrogen peroxide. I actually do need to do hydrogen peroxide runs. Well, interesting. Alright, now that that's done, let's start looking for another rock. It'll delay these guys a little bit as I'm spinning around here, but... Alright. Oh, my refinery's full. Shit. I could probably actually get rid of these low temperature diamonds, but I really don't want to. Painite 15% is actually probably better to get rid of here. Let's see here. Hydrogen peroxide, lithium hydroxide. I mean, I do need hydrogen peroxide, but 11.82% is pretty bad. I should probably move a little bit closer to these resources here. Ooh. Did I scan this one? I don't think I have. I'm surprised my collectors haven't exploded quite yet. They seem to be pretty... Like, I've got the A-class collectors, so they last as long as they're allowed to, but I forget what the duration of them is. I think 6 minutes or something like that. Before you have to chuck out new ones. Oh, that's a really crappy one. Pretty sure that our collectors are going to be exploding pretty soon on us, though. Should probably rotate a little bit. That would probably help. Well, probably wait till they... Ah, there they go. So the first one expired. The other ones should be following soon after. I accidentally launched one of them out like prematurely by a minute or so. Huh, that asteroid's a lot further away than I thought it was. Let's see here. Oh, that's low content everything. Jeez. Alright. What about this thing? That prospector failed message is just because I'm only allowed to have one prospector at a time, so basically the old one always explodes. Let's get rid of a bunch of materials here. There they go. It's going to be all of them. Let's just get rid of chemical distilleries and chromium and some other stuff. I wish I could store this stuff somewhere. Let's keep our focus crystals. Those are pretty difficult to get. What have I got like a glut of here? High density composites. I need those kind of. Actually, I can't remember if I need those or not. I have 36 of something here. These are pretty hard to get, though. Oops. Okay, all our collector limpets, yeah, are dead here. Where do we want to go to get them? Back here? Yeah. Oops. Oh well. Was not paying attention there. Probably going to find out that that previous one was on some sort of really ridiculously good thing here. Wrong button. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, we already did that one. Okay. Probably should have actually just left the remainder on that one. Ah well, it's fine. Where's the planet? There we go. Alright, and back on to the journey. I'm still not sure if, like, I'm pretty sure the game actually stores, like, whichever asteroid you've already scanned. If you scan it a second time, it's not going to remember what it's supposed to, or it will remember what's supposed to have in it. But I'm not 100% sure about that. Alright. 24%, Alright, this has everything we need, although in fairly low quantities, but it's everything we need, and the hydrogen peroxide is actually in pretty high quantities, so we'll do this. Nice, relaxing, meditative sort of experience this is. Actually, the majority of the money I made to earn this thing, though, came from combat zones, so I kind of do both, but even the conflict zones, if you're in the right kind of ship, is kind of relaxing. Because you just sort of go around and blow apart fairly weak ships over and over and over again. Get into that high-intensity conflict zone, wait till your side has like a critical mass of bullshit ships, and just start killing anything strong off on the enemy side, and then you can just sort of poach kills off of the enemy side, going after their heavier ships, because typically speaking the heavier ships aren't at low health, or rather they'll survive long enough that you can get some licks in there. Okay, just wait till this comes back around and is a bit closer. I don't want to get too close to it while it's spinning. Alright. There we go. And again, just have to wait till our collectors go ahead and get all this stuff. I wish collectors were actually a little bit faster, though. They take really dumb routes sometimes. They sort of loop around in a way that I don't think is particularly efficient. Alright. Yeah, no, that one's useless. There's a couple different ways to mine, and mission mining I think is one of the more interesting ways to do it. I think the most profitable way though per hour is to just go into the high metallic rings and just look for valuable metals, because I think they're even more valuable per unit and per hour than the missions are worth, so it's a little bit of an unbalance there. I think the ones that I'm on, like them saying that they want me to get certain things for them for X amounts of money. Ooh, low temperature diamonds at 17.35%. That is pretty good. Okay, so we're going to go for that one. Hydrogen peroxide as well, liquid oxygen. I don't really care about the liquid oxygen. Alright, so just let these boys clear this stuff up and we'll head over to that limpet. Low temperature diamonds, again, most rare resource in the game, but they're only like 17,000 per unit more than painite, and painite's a lot easier to get. And while you're looking for painite, you'll get lots of titanium and palladium, or platinum and palladium, which is all worth a lot of money as well. Whereas all the stuff in here, like, I don't think there's anything in here that's worth over 10,000 other than the diamonds. So, sort of why you don't really go for this stuff. Although this is the faster way to, I think, fill your hopper. Is to just go into the icy ring, grab whatever you can get, and then just go home with it. It's probably the literal fastest way to fill your stuff. We're at 333 actually. Generally speaking, you want to be getting more resources than you are expending probes. I think we're expending probes a lot faster because we had 350 or so before we left here, so we're not doing a great job this run, honestly. If I'm honest with you. Although, maybe it's not that bad. Because by the time we actually get the stuff from this rock over here with the low temperature diamonds, that probably actually is about 350. And you don't want to be like getting more resources either than your limpets, because then your ship's going to be full too fast and you're going to start having to purge things. That means you're sort of also doing things inefficiently. The most efficient is when you're sort of always just exactly at that threshold there. Alright, do I have enough hydrogen peroxide for my mission? I do not have anywhere near enough. And nowhere near enough of these either, so... yeah, bromelite's pretty valuable, but... Alright, looks like we've got the last one. Let's see if we can thread through here without all my collector limpets getting exploded. They can just smash themselves against stuff, which is always awful. And they're always doing it. Okay, rotation axis, I think we want to get to this side of it. Oh, I think this is rotating in like so many different ways here. This is going to be an awkward as hell one to get. Just hate it when the really good stuff is in an awkward rotation. Alright. Basically, you just want to make sure you're getting it at an angle where you're not going to have your collector limpets explode constantly. The mining laser's only got about 500 meter range, so I think this should be okay as an angle. I think we can purge something here from our refinery. Oh, I don't need to. Okay, we'll purge the methane clathrate though. Kind of want to be aiming for the lower side, ejecting it downwards. When it ejects upwards, it takes longer to collect. At least I'm pretty sure the cargo hatch is on the bottom for this ship. Low temperature diamonds refined. That's 57k in the bank. It's not actually, because the resale value is going to be lower, but whatever. Alright. Oh. Interesting. Yeah, let's fire one off there. There we go. Yeah, so we can check the price of the stuff in our cargo value, cargo here, and yeah, so 57,443 for one low temperature diamond. It's probably worth as much as like everything else in here, other than the limpets. And the limpets only because I've got like 300 of them, so. Ooh, yeah, look at that. Money in the bank. I think I fired this off at something that was a lot further away than I thought it was. Boy. Okay, well. Alright, cool. Let's try checking out this one. This one's spinning a bit fast for me as well, but I have to remember not to throw out all my hydrogen peroxide when I start venting hydrogen peroxide, because I do need 15 of it, but maybe I just keep it. Maybe I just don't really care. Sell off the excess or keep it for other missions. Let's see here. It's got quite a lot of hydrogen peroxide, but it's not enough to make it worth my while there, I don't think. So yeah, as far as ice area mining, these diamonds make this a good haul by themselves. I think I'm facing sort of the wrong height here. I'm gonna have much less efficient collection time right now, but I could turn upside down and that would actually... Wait till these guys get in here first. Yeah, not really worth that one. So yeah, you can do this for literally hours and hours and hours and just basically zone out and listen to music or listen to some podcasts or whatever. It's super relaxing. Because there's no real risk at any point in this one, and nothing really super exciting can happen. Like, you can find a rock with a huge amount of something valuable in it, but that's sort of one of those givens if you're doing this sort of thing here. So, we do have to take out this rock, I think, for the bromelite. Alright, looks like we're probably going to have like 5 low temperatures, I think, is what we're going to end up having here. We're getting a pretty good haul out of this rock here. Pretty happy with it. So yeah, what we got here, 200,000 bucks. I figured we'd probably have around 200,000 bucks from this rock, but might have a little bit more. Although we did have some low temperature diamond in our hopper beforehand, so. Actually, it looks like the rest is materials, so we might not have any more. Yeah, you can actually, like, I don't have the best gear here. There are higher level collector limpets that I could have that would fit better in the slots that I've got. So I'd be able to make money a bit faster if I had those, because I could have, like, say, 6 of them out at a time, and that would be much, much faster for collection. And faster and more efficient collection means that you can sort of get from place to place faster. Nope. Alright, let's start heading to this one. And this one's rotation is kind of wonky as well here. All the ones that are worth doing seem to be kind of wonky on rotation today. Unfortunately, we didn't get our 5th diamond, but got a bit of the way there. Sometimes you find a rock that says it's like 50% diamond, which means that every chunk that you get that has diamond on it is worth 50% of the whole diamond. So every 2 that you collect, you get a new diamond. Very rare for that to happen. I need to get on a different angle here. Oh, there goes all our collector limpets, damn it. Okay. So I'm sort of just side strafing here. And apparently moving backwards. But we want to get around this side, I think, for this. Okay. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Okay, so this is a better angle. I don't think it's a great angle, but it'll do, I think. Probably gonna get smacked by this thing, aren't I? It's gonna come around and smack me in the face. No. I think we're good. Yeah, sometimes you get people with like 10 collector drones or whatever, and they just finish this off like in immediate time, and that's kind of what I want to be doing, but at the same time, I'm not in any rush or anything, so. You'd think water and oxygen and stuff like that would be much more valuable in a space-based society, though. Alright, what have we got going on here?
Asteroid depleted.
Get rid of the liquid oxygen there, get rid of the water. Yeah, that seems fine. How are we doing on things like... Only got 7 hydrogen peroxide, only got 4 bromelites. How much bromellite do I need anyway for a lot of these missions? Like, this one needs 27 units of it. This one only needs 10. This is going to be awfully difficult to get all of properly. Ah, well, it's fine. Okay. Like, I'm kind of afraid to actually move out around too much and try and launch out more probes here. Alright. Excuse me. Gah. Wow, that's bad. Yeah, I think I'm starting to catch something. Definitely feels though that's the case. Managed to lose the planet here. Uh-oh. Must be just behind this asteroid, I think, that we're right beside. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Alright, there we go. Come on, give me something good, damn it. Yeah, nothing great there. Alright. I mean, you can just sort of take all of these rocks that we're sort of bypassing and saying are not quite good enough and just go for them anyway, but we have standards here. Sort of. Not really. Getting a lot of methane clathrate that I'm going to have to get rid of. Alright. Yeah. So that should get us a decent chunk of the way towards our bromelites requirements there. should probably just take the osmium missions, honestly. If I took only osmium missions, I'd probably make the maximum amount of money, since osmium's something worth quite a bit of anyway. So typically you can get a mission for that for like 400,000 for 10 units of it or something like that. And since you're probably going to be picking up osmium anyway, since it's just valuable enough to be worth it, it's usually worth getting. This one's going to be really good for us, actually, since every single chunk that we're pulling out of it is going to be bromellite. So this is what we want to sort of see here. If you see something with like 50% diamond, it's less valuable actually if it has 50% diamond and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. You actually want to just say 50% diamond and nothing else. That's sort of the ideal. So the fact that this is 25% bromellite with nothing else means that like every single tick is going to be bromellite. I think we're going to be able to get something like maybe 5 bromellite off this thing. Probably more than that, actually. How much can I get out of each of these? I forget. Pretty sure that's 2.5 per, so I think we can get like 50 ticks. 50 ticks would be quite a lot. I don't know. I'm sick. Leave me alone. That would be about 12, I think. Yeah, I think we can get maybe 12 bromellite off this thing. Alright. Of course, the downside to that calculation is that it's wrong, because I'm getting some materials, but the material content is low, so... When it says materials, it means the crafting stuff, so stuff that's not worth any money, unfortunately, in this game. Maybe that'll change one day. Maybe they'll actually let us trade in the crafting materials. Which I think they should do to create a real vibrant economy in this game. Because right now the economy is basically just trade value. There's no practical value to anything that we trade in. Whereas if they did it with stuff that people actually want or need, then people would actually be a lot more active in the economy. You know, it would be a little bit more like Eve's economy, which is not necessarily a good thing. Alright, refinery full. That shouldn't be a problem, really. Yeah, it's not really a problem. I'll get rid of the water, though. Get rid of the methane clathrate. And bromellite is up to 11 now. Okay, I'm not sure I can hit anything else from this range here. It is nice, though, that we're starting to really hit the big time as far as bromellite reserves go, though. Sometimes it takes a long time to find any relevant amounts of this stuff. Methane monohydrate crystals, though, we're really not finding any of. Which is a bit of a shame, because it's supposed to be slightly more common, if I recall. Pretty sure, anyway. Okay. Did need a little bit more hydrogen peroxide, but I don't think we're going to get it from that one. Alright. Might be a bit too far away, that one I launched, but... Oh, I don't think that one actually expired. I think it smashed into a rock. Either that or the other ones are just about to expire as well. You lose a lot of these to rocks. In all honesty, probably more than you do to time. Well, that's not true anymore. They did patch it, so they're a little bit less stupid. Yeah, I think this one, this limpet's gone. Oh, no, it made it. 17% bromellite. I mean, I need a lot of this stuff. So... maybe get more of it. I don't know. That reserve is pretty bad. I think we'll skip it. It's 17% with a bunch of other stuff that's really bad, like liquid oxygen and water. Are both very non-valuable, so... hopefully we can find some more stuff here. I'm wondering, yeah, that other collector must have smashed into a rock. There's no other way that these ones could be lasting this much longer. Ah, well. That used to be the more frustrating thing, actually, that the reason that this used to be not as relaxing, because your collector limpets would just all smash themselves into rocks constantly. So you'd have to try and find the exact perfect positioning to get to the exact right spot so that they wouldn't suicide into rocks. Or into your own ship sometimes. Or into your mining laser. That was always the funnest one. I'm just gonna go for this because, like, I'm not even necessarily gonna finish this one off. I just want to get the lithium hydroxide finished off so we can get that quest done. Actually, was that a quest that I had? Pretty sure that was one I had. No, hydrogen peroxide. Oh. Okay, well, never mind then. Let's cut that out. I don't think that lithium hydroxide is even that valuable. Guess we'll find out in a bit. Just water. Like, it used to be that the spinning bastard over here would, you know, he would lose maybe 10 or 20 collector limpets on it if you didn't go carefully. Especially if you did have, like, 10 that you could deploy at once, it would just smash all 10 of them in a single go, and then you'd sort of move around a bit. Alright, yeah, not bother with that. I'm just sort of operating under the assumption that my other ones will break pretty soon, though. Alright.
Prospector limpet engaged. Programming limpet drone.
Well.
Collector limpet expired.
Yeah, that duration did run out there. Okay. So, not going to worry too much about the stuff around here or whatever, just going to go ahead and find a really nice rock. Generally speaking, when you've got the collector limpets already out, you kind of want to lower your standards a little bit so that you can get the most out of those collector limpets while they're still around. I'm still curious as to why they have a duration on them, though. I can sort of understand why, but at the same time, like, they're just chucking hundreds of tons of iron into space here. For the hell of it. You think that that would really sort of screw with the price of whatever you make these out of. Alright. Well. Yeah, so you can imagine just how much worse this would be if I was not in a pristine ring. This is already pretty bad as far as finding the things that we need, but well, it's actually not that bad. We're finding lots of percolites, just you can't find methane, whatever, crystals. Yeah, methanol monohydrate crystals. This one's not bad, actually. It's got a total of 20% of stuff that we need, so... Alright, let's give this a go. Oh, right, I need to get my drones back out. Should be okay firing off of this little lump at the end here. Alright. Yeah, this looks fine. Get to fire off and shoot into this sort of right direction. Might have a bit of an issue later on, but I think we're okay here. There we go. Alright. Well, let's start throwing out more of these things, I guess. we've got still 300 of these things. We've only spent about 50 of the limpets, so doing pretty well as far as that all goes. Alright.
Prospector limpet engaged.
Oops. Need to get rid of the lithium. Oh, well, whatever. Hydrogen peroxide over there. Methanol monohydrate crystals and lithium hydroxide. And I'm pretty sure it was the hydrogen peroxide that we needed, so maybe we go for this one? Hydrogen peroxide, yeah. And how much hydrogen peroxide do we actually have? 7, so I need 8 more. Okay, yeah, let's do it. So anyway, yeah, this is mining. I'll get back to you guys a little bit later. I'm pretty sure that despite this is being fairly relaxing for everybody involved, you know, it'll be probably one of those things that I don't think you guys need to see me doing for the next X number of hours or whatever. I'll probably take a break in between as well. But, yeah, no, this is one of my favorite things to do in this game. The other one, like, you'd think that combat would be really, really intense in this game as well. It can be, but when you're in a bigger ship like this one, it's really not that intense. You just sort of get your turrets locked on something and you just sort of buzz around until targets explode, which is pretty easy to do, but that is one of the benefits of being in one of the larger tier ships. Even if you're up against one of the bigger heavy ones, if you get a swarm of enemy ships to get onto it properly, you can deal some pretty fast damage to them really, really fast. And since I'm also, my combat ship actually is a combat modded Anaconda with a bunch of upgraded turrets that, or weapon systems that have extra damage. You can do modifications to increase the damage, and AI doesn't really use those. So when you're in a combat zone, you can easily destroy those things, even if it's a theoretically even fight. So you get into a sort of zen state when you're doing combat grinding as well. It's a very grindy game in a lot of respects. You actually have to enjoy what you're doing to make this game worthwhile, rather than focusing on the actual combat itself. Or sorry, you don't want to do it for the sort of results. You want to do it for the combat itself, kind of thing. So anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys later.